Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott's leadership came under fire last Friday when he saw his popularity stumble, but he can now breathe a sigh of relief as he survived a party confidence vote today.
A comprehensive report will come your way later on in the bulletin, but first let's take a look at your headlines.
A presidential commission to investigate large-scale fraud and corruption. Several UPFA partners call for Maithripala to come forward as prime ministerial candidate. Leaders rejected by the people will not get opportunities. A statement from Minister Gunawardena. Novice monk abducted and forced into begging. Suspect arrested in Dambulla.
President Maithripala says that a special presidential commission will be appointed to take action against those who are involved in serious acts of fraud and corruption. The president made this statement at an event held in Lanka today.
A public rally was held for President Maithripala to show his gratitude for the people of Pulatissapura. The rally was held in Lanka under the theme Janapati Maitri Janabhinandana Mangalya.
I wonder as to why action has not been taken against those who caused wide-scale corruption. This has become a big issue. I would like to state that I will take legal action against those who have robbed, destroyed and misused state resources, as well as those who are involved in corruption without taking their rank, position or party into consideration. I made this promise in the last presidential election. I hope as the president and with the powers vested in me to appoint a special presidential commission to look into the fraud and corruption and take the necessary action against them.
බරපතල වංචා දූෂණ කරපු අය දඬුවම් දීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් විශේෂ ජනාධිපති කොමිෂන් සභාවක් පත් කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
The president also stated that support is needed by a majority of the parliament in order to make the 100-day program a success.
මම වඩාත්ම ආදරය කරන්නේ මට විරුද්ධව වැඩ කරපු අයට.
I mostly love the people who have done wrong against me. Some find my principles too complex to understand. Even though we attain victory, we cannot take the government forward without the support of the parliament. We cannot abolish the executive presidency without the two-third majority. Some do not understand this. Therefore, if we do not have the support of the SLFP, our 100-day program will end from there. The changing of the electoral process will also come to an end. So if we are to move beyond this point, that is still we hold the parliamentary election. We will need the support of the majority, especially when it comes to amending the constitution. Do not forget that if we are going to amend the constitution, 127 SLFP MPs have conditions. Therefore, in order to create an understanding, they too need to be benefited from this.
Meanwhile, President Maithripala was invited as the chief guest to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Royal College Polonnaruwa. The new technology faculty was declared open by President Maithripala. A tree planting ceremony was also held at the premises of the college under the auspices of the president.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa issued another press release today as a response to statements made by members of the new government. Rajapaksa stated that the communique comes as a response to defend false and misleading statements from reaching the masses.
Issuing the communique, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa referred to several aspects including the funds allocated on behalf of the President and the purchasing of vehicles and aircraft by the Presidential Secretariat. Rajapaksa says that the actual sum allocated to the Presidential Secretariat for 2015 is 9,593 million rupees, adding that 1,000 million of this is meant to be spent on 25 state institutions and the construction of various community projects designated under the President across the country. A sum of 2,750 million rupees was allocated for the presidential election, which according to the press release is said to be the allocation for the new president. Meanwhile, responding to statements made on the special plane with a cubicle with special facilities installed exclusive for him, the former president stated that when Sri Lankan Airlines had ordered a new aircraft, Airbus Industries had provided a complimentary VIP conversion kit which could be installed and dismantled as required. Rajapaksa in his communique also pointed out that $15 million was only the manufacturer's indicative value of this kit, which is actually provided free. Furthermore, the press release issued by the former president also goes on to state that the statements that mention presidential residences claimed to have been built by him are false, noting that Temple Trees, President's House and the residences in Nuwara and Kandy have been used by heads of state and government since the colonial era. The communique further notes that the presidential residences in Anuradhapura, Amblipitiya, Mahayangana and Kathurgama were those that were built by former President Ranasinghe Premadasa. President Mahinda Rajapaksa in his press release also added that a number of vehicles found from Borala and Pitakote are in fact vehicle yards of the Presidential Secretariat, and the statements made as to these vehicles that were discovered there is absurd. The former president notes that details of the vehicles had been issued to various officers and institutions under the Presidential Secretariat could be easily traced by perusing the register maintained for this purpose at the Establishments and Organizations Division at the Secretariat. The communique goes on to indicate that all vehicles used by Mahinda Rajapaksa and his staff have been returned.
The United People's Freedom Alliance convened a press conference in Colombo today. UPFA members and those from the alliance who presided at the press briefing stated that Mahinda Rajapaksa must contest for the prime ministerial portfolio at the forthcoming poll. They added that this is in order to establish a UPFA government complete with the prime minister.
Vimal Veeravansa, Dinesh Gunabodhana, Vasudevanana Kara and Udaya Gamampila were present at the press briefing.
5.8 million of the population are interested in seeing a personality like Mahinda Rajapaksa contesting for the prime ministerial portfolio. No matter what insults are projected, the public has not lost that interest. The 5.8 million of the population will be subject to a helpless fate if the opposition continues to remain as prisoners of an unofficial government. Our ideology is not to assume that our functioning is entirely correct. We need to make fair changes along with a candidate who is capable of winning and face the upcoming general elections. That is our opinion.
It was also revealed during the press conference that public rally intended to safeguard the rights of 5.8 million people will be held on the 18th of this month in Nugegoda.
Meanwhile, several ministers responded today to the proposal of putting forward Mahinda Rajapaksa as a prime ministerial candidate.
We are not prepared to consider various people's proposals. We are not prepared to once again embrace a person who has been rejected by the people. We do not care if they embrace anyone they want. We are not prepared to taint the jug of milk with dung. After the people have rejected you, we do not care if you do various things at your house, but we will not let them destroy this country once again. I believe the left is now bankrupt. What are they going to do with a bankrupt president? The people are aware of what has happened today. The communist parties are shamelessly assisting those who stole, and that has become a problem. All the people in the country know what they did. We are a democratic party and we do not need to take the law into our hands. Otherwise, by now, we would have shown everything that they have done. We need to catch the thieves with the things they stole. This is what we are trying to do. The left has already been destroyed, and they are attempting to destroy themselves further by tying up with a lost president.
On a related note, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa revealed today that he is yet to receive an invitation for a rally that has been organized by a handful of constituent parties of the UPFA. The former president visited MP Sathanayaka, who is in remand custody at the Valikura prison today.
I came to see Tissa and Jayasekara, but Jayasekara has been taken away. He has been taken to Kuruvita. There is also a person called Amaravira who is from the Navy. He has been arrested too for possessing his official pistol. Even he is in prison. So I visited both of them.
Thank you, sir. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය ගත්ත. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයට ඇසුමද? එනවා කියලා. එන්න හොඳයි බොහොම ස්තුතියි කට්ටියට.
Meanwhile, Tissa Tanayaka's daughter also visited the Valikada prison today.
Oh, අපච්චි බාන්න ගියා. එයා හොඳින් ඉන්නවා. අපි ක්‍රොස්සෙන්දට අප ලබා ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. එච්චරයි තමයි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. අපච්චි සනීපෙන් ඉන්නවා. එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. 11 වෙනිදා තමයි තීරණය අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන්.
The Janata Vimukti Peramuna says that the purpose now is not to conduct a referendum but to go forth with the available possibilities to make amendments to the powers vested within the executive presidency and to reduce it accordingly. Addressing a conference held in Kandy yesterday under the theme The Change in Government and the People's Challenges, JVP General Secretary Tirvin Silva had this to say.
In order to remove a president who has been appointed with a mandate from the people, then you will have to get a mandate from the people again through a referendum. The purpose now is not to hold a referendum but to abolish all powers that can be abolished. This is the first step. In the second step, we will be able to remove the rest. Even at present, there is a policy to reduce the powers of the president. The president should be the head of state, while the prime minister and the cabinet should be the head of government. In addition, the independent commissions need to be introduced. Tirvin Silva also commented on the actions of the government. The JVP believes that this government is like the previous government, so there are many things that we want that cannot be done through this. We have no myths about it, but we believe that there are things that need to be done and that can be done. Even some of our people have qualms with the appointment of the cabinet. The manner in which some portfolios have been distributed is wrong, but we did not intervene. It is not our business. It is the government's business. From the outset, everyone in the UMP has been given ministries, and this is not good for good governance.
Minister Rauf Hakim, the leader of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, revealed today that the SLMC would contest on the UNP ticket at the upcoming general election. He made the statement after visiting the chief prelates in Kandy today.
Minister Rauf Hakim first arrived at the Askeri Mahaviharya, where he met with the chief prelate of the Askeri chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakita Thera. After visiting the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter, the minister expressed these views to the media.
Even before the presidential election, we held talks with the UNP and signed a memorandum of understanding. There is an effort to contest together and secure a majority. Although parties are contesting separately, we will form a national unity government. We have made a promise that this will continue for the next 2 years.
If
it is necessary at times in certain areas, we would do so. But as per the MOU we have reached, we are not hoping to do such a thing as yet.
Convening a special discussion today, Minister of Housing and Samruddhi Sajith Premadasa spoke on issues that have arisen in connection to a factory in the Batata industrial zone in Ambalantota.
The discussion regarding the factory in concern was held at the premises of the Labour Ministry Narayanpeta between Minister Sajith Premadasa, owners of the factory, labourers and other workers.
වසවිස ශරීරගත වෙන මේ කර්මාන්ත ශාලාවට කොහොමද අවසරය ලැබුණේ කියන එක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ආයෝජන මණ්ඩලය කොහොමද මේ වගේ
It is a big question as to how permission was granted to establish this factory which poses a threat of poisoning. How did the Board of Investments permit the functioning of such a factory despite being aware of such threats? I am well aware of the secretive practices adopted by the former political authority in Hambantota. Permission must be granted for the functioning of such factories only after the completion of relevant safety measures. I am not in agreement of a policy that states that it will be taken care of in the process. It doesn't matter how much has been spent in American dollars on the project. Lives of human beings cannot be measured in dollars.
කොච්චර ඇමරිකානු ඩොලර් මිලියන් ගණනක් මෙවන් කර්මාන්ත ශාලාවක ආයෝජනය කරලා තිබුණා. මිනිස් ජීවිත ඇමරිකානු ඩොලර් මිලියන් වලින් මනින්නට බෑ.
In business news tonight, consumers charge that prices of essential goods have not changed despite the price reduction presented in the interim budget. Minister Ravi Karunanayaka says that complaints have been made by members of the public over the price of cement and three-wheeler charges.
The prices of petrol, diesel, kerosene, gas and 13 food items were reduced by the interim budget.
තියෙන්නේ තිමුණු ගණන් වල තමයි අපිට ගන්න වෙන්නේ. මොකද ගියන් පස්සේ ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ අපි ගෙනාපු ගානට අපි විකුණන සැමන් ටින් එක ඒ විදිහමයි. සීනි ටිකේ ඉඳලා. ඒ තාම 40 පරාට ඊගානමයි. දී කිසිම සාධයක් නැහැ. ත්‍රිවිල් වල වුණත් අර ස්පුරුදු කරද්දී පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තමයි ඒගොල්ලන් ධාවනය කරන්නේ. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ නම් බඩු මිල අඩු වුණා. නමුත් හැබැයි කඩවල නම් තාම එහෙම දෙයක් වෙන්න නැහැ. සිමින්ති කොටයක් ගන්න ගියත් හැබැයි තාම නම් මිල නම් අඩු වෙලා නැහැ. ඒ ගානම තමයි. මේකට නීතිමය මේ මාර්ගයක් ගන්න. ඒවා හොයලා බලන්න. ඉතින් බඩු මිල අඩු කරා කිව්වට අඩු වෙලා නැත්නම් අපි
The National Consumer Rights Protection Movement says that they have received over 1,500 complaints over the sale of goods for higher prices.
The public in the north and east have informed us that kerosene is being sold at a price between 85 and 120 rupees, while a kilogram of sugar is sold between 100 and 110 rupees. The price of milk powder has not reduced. In addition, the prices of wheat flour has not been reduced as well. They charge that the prices are not being reduced. There are also complaints that have been made from Gaul, Mathura, Kandy, Mathale, Kurunegala, Amlipiti areas. All the complaints with details will be handed over to the responsible government officials tomorrow.
Journalists also questioned the subject minister on this matter today.
There's an issue with regard to the price of cement. Stocks in some areas are the reason for this. The Consumer Affairs Authority has been informed about this. If there are acts of sabotage taking place, those responsible will be strictly dealt with. The three-wheeler drivers assisted us in bringing about this change. We discussed with them and made these price reductions.
The Consumer Affairs Authority notes that legal action will be taken against vendors who do not comply with these price reductions. The authority requests consumers that if there are individuals who sell goods above the stipulated rate, to make complaints by calling the hotline 1977 or 0117 755 481 up to 3.
Officers were dispatched to look into whether the price reductions had benefited the consumers after the budget was announced. The investigations have revealed that there are around 200 traders who have not complied with this. Steps have been taken to file cases against 90% of these vendors. The prices of goods differ. The reason is because these goods are not imported to the country. Some prices vary based on the quality of the goods. So there is no indication of prices. The prices needs to vary. However, the prices needs to be reduced as well. We have appointed a committee with the participation of the divisional secretariats. Our officers too will be attached to it. In addition, some of the development officers, Gramanildari officers will form a committee at divisional level to look into the price reduction in towns and villages.
Norwegian ambassador to Sri Lanka, Grete Loken, called on the Minister of Finance today.
The meeting took place at the Ministry of Finance.
We discussed with the Norwegian ambassador on how a small country like Sri Lanka, which has achieved peace, reap the benefits of peace. We informed them that we appreciate the assistance rendered for this task to be achieved through a unitary state. The economy had collapsed due to corruption, and we discussed on how it can be rectified. People look at Norway in a negative perspective. Nothing was spoken on that respect.
The president of the Self-Employees Federation, Mahinda Kahandagama, was arrested by the Police Fraud Investigation Bureau today. The police media spokesperson's office says that Kahandagama was arrested over an incident of financial fraud. The Fraud Investigation Bureau is conducting further investigations.
UNP parliamentarian Buddhika Patirana has reiterated the importance of ensuring that individuals involved in criminal activity are banned from engaging in politics. He expressed these views at a public rally held in Akurasa today.
This event was organized to distribute library books to institutions including the Sri Paramananda Pirivena, Andhra Vidyalaya and the Ubayathissa Primary Pirivena in Bopagoda, Akurasa.
Some people say that thieves, thugs, ethanol smugglers, drug peddlers, club owners and guest house owners get into politics because the party gives them nominations. Some others say that it is the people who vote them in. This is like the story of which came first, the chicken or the egg. I leave you with this thought. Politics may not have certificates as qualifications, but practical use can become a qualification. Put a stop to people involving in criminal activity, intoxicants and cigarettes engaging in politics.
As mentioned in your headlines tonight, Newsfirst received a report from Ampara today of an incident where a man had kidnapped a novice monk from a temple and forced him into begging.
This 10-year-old novice monk had been residing at the Sri Sumanarama in Rajagalathanna, Nugelanta, Ampara. He was reported missing 4 days ago. The boy had been abducted while the chief incumbent was away from the Viharaya.
I took this boy in and raised him 5 to 6 years ago. He was ordained 4 or 5 months ago. I had seen him blast at 10 o'clock at night on the 5th. He had been missing since then.
The novice monk who went missing in Ampara was found on the street in Dambulla. When they were found, the boy monk and a layperson from the temple were begging. This footage was captured on a mobile phone.
When I went to an almsgiving at my aunt's house in Ampara, we saw this novice monk there. Therefore, I knew about him. After I ascertained that it was him, I brought him in, informed my husband, and then called the police.
The monk informed me at 10:30 in the morning on Friday that the child was missing. I went everywhere. I don't know for what reason he took away this boy. I am very grateful to the sister who found him and to the chief monk as well.
The layperson who had forced the boy into begging on the streets was arrested by the Dambulla police yesterday. He has been turned over to the Bakiala police. The Dambulla police noted that the child and the suspect would be produced before the Bakiala magistrate.
Can you please start showing some love and affection to your children? If you do not do this, they will go astray and will fall prey to the predators out there. As parents, you should show love and affection to your children. Is it not right?
Well, starting off sports news with cricket news, novice pace bowler Dushmantha Chamira has received a call-up to Sri Lanka's World Cup squad to replace the injured Dhammika Prasad. While the chairman of the National Selection Committee, Sanajaya Suri, confirmed the call-up, Chamira's inclusion is currently pending the approval of the sports minister. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka were defeated in their first warm-up match ahead of the World Cup today against South Africa.
.23-year-old right-arm pace bowler Dushmantha Chamira made his ODI debut at the recent series in New Zealand. A product of Maithripala College, Chamira plays first-class cricket for the Nondescripts Cricket Club. Play was disrupted at Sri Lanka's first warm-up match in Christchurch today, and their innings was restricted to 44.4 overs. When rain stopped play, Sri Lanka were on 26 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. Team Dilshan scored an 83-ball century. While rain stopped play intermittently, the South Africans were given a revised target of 188 runs of 25 overs, which they reached with 5 wickets in hand. Lasith Malinga, who made his return to international cricket after suffering an injury in August last year, picked up 1 wicket in 4.3 overs, giving away 33 runs.
Before wrapping up the news, 4 people have been killed and 13 others injured after a lorry toppled in Maithripala. Police confirmed this to News First a short while ago.
So that's a wrap for Primetime News at 9. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.